Welcome to Psychic Evolution with evidential psychic medium Jamie Clark and spiritual coach and healer Maggie Clark.
And welcome back to another episode of Psychic Evolution. I'm Jamie Clark.
And I'm Maggie Clark, and this is the podcast where you discover the psychic potential within to empower yourself and manifest your psychic and mediumship gifts. And today we are going to have this beautiful podcast all about eternal destiny, free will, and destiny. So let's jump right in because recently, Jamie's master guide, Chi, offered him a piece of information and we're like, oh, that is brilliant. So we really wanted to talk about this concept of what is eternal destiny. And then, of course, we want to talk about destiny and free will, how they interact, how they can help co-create realities and universes. And let's get to it, my love.
On average, most of us attribute destiny to this particular lifetime on this particular planet at this particular time. And I was asking Chi, what is the circumstance? Because as we perceive it, the choices we make, they tend to think that there's no other choice except for what they make. And they tend to limit that you possibly have to come back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime to kind of connect with many different outcomes type of thing. And Chi let me know the fact that on a quantum level, that all potentials and outcomes are happening at once. It becomes you already are the multifaceted you. It's just what will you connect with as an eternal soul print, as those opportunities are there that you can choose in any way. And I'm like, God, that makes sense, because so many of us feel like I should have made this or that and it was a wrong choice, and it wasn't the most appropriate for that. But also he kind of tied that into, as I always share with those, every time I merge with the oneness, my soul is full. No judgment. It's all love. It's all interconnected. And it's that type of a connection that the eternal soul is experiencing everything at once.
Which I find beautiful because it takes some of the second guessing out of life. We do second guess our choices. I don't believe in right or wrong choices. I believe we make choices from where we are in that time frame. Now, there's sometimes we make a choice which we know is ruled by fear or ego, and it's maybe not the best road to go down. And then we might do the shame blame game, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that and blah, blah, blah. And we've all done this. We've all done this 1,000 times because we're human and we have to question life. That's how we get these answers. That's how we receive guidance from our guides and our inner self and our higher self. So always ask those questions. So when we get to these places where we understand, okay, if I feel like I made a wrong choice, then there was a part of my psyche, a part of my mind that maybe sees that there could have been a better choice, more aligned with the higher aspect of myself. That's all that means. So the next time you choose better, you choose different. So when we get into this conversation of free will versus destiny, it's pretty fascinating because on an earthly plane, we do have opportunities to create all kinds of choices. I could choose to do this podcast this morning. I could choose to not do this podcast this morning. It is a choice, and we clearly have free will to make that choice. And so when we go forward, we have to realize that there's a lot of energies that influence our choices. And some of those are what we call free will. Some of those are destiny, and some of it is eternal destiny.
Chi also was letting me know the fact that when I do psychic reads, I just become the road sign, but I can answer, I can give them, if you make this choice, here's most likely what's going to happen. If you go in this direction, this will be happening. Oh yeah, all of these things are already happening. And all I do is just tap into their potential of what they're thinking about most and attracting out of that infinite potential of experiences. And then it becomes that it usually happens for them. And that makes me a psychic. So when I share that fact, I share the fact that also not only is it the potential choices of outcomes that you'll experience, but I'm also connecting with a future you out of that quantum soup of life ingredients, you've already pretty much put that together. And that's what I constitute as deja vu. I haven't done it, but I've done it. I haven't done it, but I've, yes, you have. And it's that kind of familiarity to go, do you see how once we can understand that we've already made choices in some way? And oh yeah, that eternal destiny is that we are the oneness. No matter what lifetime, what experience, it's only an experience in a concept. It is the unification of consciousness. With chi, because there was one time that I felt recently just it came in like a vacuum, and I just became everything. And off to the right, down below as me, I was perceiving it, was what looked like a golden light, but like a cylindrical, like a cylinder object. And it was pointing out that that's our universe. I'm like, I didn't even know there was shapes to it. I didn't even know there was a limit because I thought it was foreverness and ever and ever. And she's like, well, in a sense it is. However, it's that taking that connection that I felt the cosmic oneness. I am. And it was weird in a great way because I'm like, I don't have to be anything different. And for me to even have a perspective as I perceive it of the eternal oneness and being able to look down on this beautiful little cylinder going, that's a universe? And I asked Chi, I'm like, Chi, why is there a shape in that capacity? Why is it not just nebulous or, it's kind of floating around? He's like, well, you have a human body, don't you? I'm like, well, yeah, at the time. He's like, well, that universe is within you, isn't it? I'm like, got it. Perfect. So he's very good, very insightful, and also very patient with me. But it's really nice that he's starting to give me more information, more insight. And one, those who know me know I've got an insatiable hunger for this stuff. Two, that your master guides can also help you, your higher self. The destiny that you've already reached is here now.
Now, when I perceive destiny, I really look at this as like, okay, what did my soul want to do here on earth in this lifetime? What was my purpose? I believe everyone comes here with a mission or a purpose or, hey, let's learn this here on this planet because this is a great energy vibrational match for what you could grow into as a soul vibration or how you could help humanity, or maybe you're going to help other souls in this lifetime or be about a project or something. And so a lot of times we have like, this is why you want to come back on a soul level. And that actually starts creating destiny, starts putting pieces of the dynamic, divine, creative matrix puzzle of the divine plan together. And what happens is we form soul agreements, soul contracts with other souls, sometimes with projects or missions, sometimes with whole universes or galaxies or groups of people on some level, depending on what your soul purpose is and what your mission is here. So these soul agreements, sometimes known as soul contracts, are there to help provide us energy to move into our path at certain times of our life, whether it's when we're born, we choose our parents and our time of birth. At least that's my belief system, and most astrologers will believe that too. And then you choose, okay, I'm born into this culture, I'm born into this family, this conditioning, this paradigm, this energy dynamic, and then going through life, I need to facilitate meeting certain teachers, certain events, certain classes that can help awaken me to myself, to my purpose, to my mission, to whatever it is that I'm here to do, or whoever I am, so that I grow into who I am. And this is what creates that divine matrix as it's interplaying with free will. So we have this destiny that says, okay, we're going to put all these pieces together so all these souls can accomplish this beautiful thing and they can play together really nice. So like energy attracts like energy. So if you're on this vibe, let's make sure you pull energy into that vibe, or soul essences or partners or whatever it might look like, so that you can get this going and rolling. Then also, what seeds are we planting? We talk about this cosmic God soil. This is free will. When we are consciously planting a seed into the cosmic God soil that we are going to water, nourish, and see into its full harvest of things that we want to attain or manifest while we're here on this planet. So we have free will, and then we have destiny working in tandem, but it's constantly recreating the divine matrix. the divine matrix is constantly in a state of change built upon the decisions that are being made through free will and where your soul feels it can best support your soul journey. And then, of course, when we look at this soul, remember, we're looking at the part of you that is everlasting. This is all your lifetimes, the accomplishment of everything you've ever experienced, every lifetime you've ever had. And it's the part of you, it's all of you, that is super connected to source all the time. As human beings, we're always striving to connect to source. It doesn't matter who we are. We're striving to find connection within ourselves. So through our life choices and through this destiny that is set up between souls, between sometimes even species, if it's an intergalactic mission, you might be dealing with several galactic types of energies, but all of this comes together and it's constantly changing by our destiny, our soul purpose, our free will, and then what Jamie calls the eternal destiny. Think of the eternal destiny as the oversoul to destiny and free will coming together.
And destiny, again, we've already attained it. But in addition, she was letting me know the fact that destiny is something that you feel like you're destined. It's already going to be in place. And he shared that, well, really, so you could sit on your couch and just have your destiny. Like, oh, okay. And then he also pointed out the fact that just our awareness is that there are people who do die on this planet. And not everyone has reached their destiny as they perceive it before they graduated life. But he also let me know as an eternal soul, not only is it just focusing on this physical planet, but we're now gaining the physical metaphysical integration on this physical planet. And what I feel like he meant by that, he's like, I did, is that basically it has been scientifically validated. One, humans are basically energy vibrational light beings. Two, that scientifically it's been validated that about every 7 years you have a whole new body of 50 trillion cells. Who is the constant thinker within each and every new body? Because now we start to see it's the soul essence of who we are, but being encapsulated as we perceive it, wrapped around our soul as it is in this physical form. But yet we are truly all one. And if everything's already been done, I feel that kind of ties into there's no wrong choices. No, there's stupid choices, but not necessarily wrong because you've already attained it. It's what do you want to interact with and connect with? Because if you've already been complete and you already are, have fun because it doesn't matter. You're already going to end up in the same place, which is the oneness.
So in essence, this also is tying into one of the natural laws of the universe, which we were just discussing recently, the law of correspondence, as above, so below. That means it's already done, on an eternal soul print, and now we're just bringing it to an embodied phase while we're on this planet. Now, because Earth is a planet of manifestation, we have bodies, so there's a lot of types of soul experiences where you don't have a body, you just are a pure energy state of consciousness. But on this planet, we have a body. And so this body is a vehicle, literally just a vehicle to get around. Like we get a new car every few years, Every time we get a new incarnation, we get a new body. Is it going to be human? Is it going to be Lyran? Is it going to be Syrian? Is it going to be Arcturian? What is your new body going to look like? And that is part of what destiny is. What will help you fulfill your destiny? Where do you need to manifest? Is it here on Earth? Is it on another planet, in another galaxy, in another universe? What is best for your soul growth? So there's a lot of determining factors that go into who you are as a soul, what your purpose is as a soul. And every soul has an energy signature. We call this the soul print of consciousness that never changes. Therefore, there is an eternal destiny. Because you never shift, you never change your energy signature. Now your energy around that shifts and changes, but who you are is always who you are. End of story, right? And again, it goes back to I tell everybody the soul has two purposes in every lifetime. The first is to find yourself, and the second is to be what you find. And that's it. You're fulfilling your soul purpose.
Destiny, I think it's called that. Purpose.
Absolutely, right? Purpose, destiny. And then after that, you get to decide how it looks. You know, if I know I'm here, say I find within myself, I have this desire to transform humanity, to expand the consciousness of humanity, to help express love and light into the world, to help elevate this consciousness so that we can see a new world, a new breath of life come into humanity out of the last thousands of years that has been really dark and murky and ugly. You know, like I have come here often on this planet to help facilitate this. That's never changed, I think. In all the past life memories that I've had, which has been quite a few, I have always had this drive to help humanity. So there's a part of my soul, part of my destiny, and maybe my eternal destiny, where I've made a commitment to this planet or to this species, you know, of the human race. Either one, I'm committed. I'm here. I'm in like Flynn. I love it, you know? And I know that I come here often enough to have lots of memories of doing the same thing over and over again in a different vehicle, different time frames, different paradigms, different people and different soul prints, and sometimes the same, to accomplish this eternal destiny. Hey, we just want to take a quick moment to say thank you to Dimensions of Heaven and Earth, and check this out.
As Mag was sharing the breath, it's the cosmic breath. And I always say that we live our entire life in one breath. For when we come in, we breathe in. And when we go out, we breathe out. That is just one breath as an eternal being of consciousness, a soul print of consciousness. And when we can realize that we're already everything already and it's all been attained, it now becomes, what do you want to select at this moment to be connected to? Because it doesn't matter if you're conscious of it or not, you're already connected to it, the eternal soul print of consciousness. Like Mag was saying, and I was referring to, is basically every 7 years you got a whole new body. Isn't it interesting that our cellular structure stays human? Because of our thought process and integration in a physical way. We are human, we tend to keep being human.
And the DNA, right? Because we are still connected to this body. Until we unplug from this body, aka die or graduate or pass on or go somewhere, whatever we want to call this. We call it graduation here at Psychic Evolution. When we graduate, then we don't need to hold on to this physical body or this DNA structure. And then we can move on to a different plane of existence. So this is also something that when we choose our families, we're choosing a DNA, we're choosing ancestral lineage, okay? That's part of the destiny there of things that we can heal while we're here, things that we can shift or influence. So remember, when we're choosing our parents before we come here, we are also saying, you know what, if I could maybe heal something in this lifetime that could help humanity or help my soul's evolution, what would it be? And maybe you choose yourself being born into a family with a pattern, an ancestral lineage pattern. And I'm just going to use this as an example, not that this is relevant to anyone, but just as an example to follow. Say you're like, you know what, I want to heal the trauma of alcoholism in a family, right? So I'm going to be born into a family that has some type of alcoholic tendencies or just alcoholism in their lineage. And this has gone on for generation and generation. And then all of a sudden you come in saying, okay, I'm here to shift that. I'm here to change that. I'm here to say, no, we don't actually have to follow that pattern. We can heal and we can move on and create new ancestral lineage patterns. And what's happening in humanity right now is with this shift of the age that we talked about in the last podcast, of the Aquarian age and the Piscean age, what we're seeing right now is anything that needs to be harmonized of the Piscean age, any pattern that has gone on through your ancestral lineage, through eons and eons or decades and decades or generation after generation, anything that's asking to be resolved that doesn't need to be a part of the new age. is asking to be healed. So I want you to look inside of yourself and say, do I feel like that's part of my destiny, right? To help heal something here. Because there's so many souls right now that are born into families that have these patterns, and they're just very common.
Most of us grew up in a family with that kind of circumstance.
Right. And the older the soul, the more junk you give yourself, trust me. Or I won't say junk, but the more challenges you give yourself. So if you're one of those souls that have chosen to heal something that doesn't need to be in the New Age, because it's not a part of the New Age, we're not going to take a lot of this old patriarchal paradigm into the New Age. We're supposed to be a global family, right? So that is something that needs healing. Anything that's been destructive, anything that hasn't been beneficial, anything that can be cleaned up to move us to a more elevated state of awareness, consciousness, and a pure energy state is asking to be healed right now. So there's so many old souls that are dipping into families with lots of generational things to heal them. So if you feel like you're in there, realize that's part of your destiny. What you do with it is your free will. And how is that connected to your eternal destiny? So there are layers upon layers upon layers of influences of energy dynamics that go into every decision that we make in our free will life. In our free will, we always get the question, well, then do we really have free will? If there's an eternal destiny, do we really have free will? And the answer is yes, we do.
I always share the fact that people perceive that they're destined for whatever it is, which is beautiful. And always, just for me, I'll share the fact to go, that is beautiful. But, however, if you think that you're destined for anything, tell me you can't take your life now or now or now. Where'd that destiny go? It now becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Act as though I am and I will be. Now, Mag, as she was sharing that, also kind of triggered a question for me, and that is, if we're in a challenging circumstance in this life and we want to heal, there can be many different ways to get to that healed connection. That's kind of what Chi shares. You're already the healed. It's what way do you want to get there? Because you're already here. But if you want to discover even more of yourself as the eternal I am presence, that you can individualize, never individual of, this connection to the universe onto a planet. In any planet, in any dimension, on any frequency. And then it becomes the empowerment of free will to unify. Because Chi pointed out again that the free will as we perceive it is here, but it's also the destiny is here. And you have everything within, or you wouldn't be making a choice. I'm like, oh, that's freaking brilliant.
We love the insight from Chi. It gives us another whole dynamic of perceptual fields of awareness. And, as we are moving more and more into our soul vibe, our soul essence, who we truly are as an eternal nature, we have to sometimes muster up the courage to be what we find there. That's not easy. It's absolutely not easy to be what you find, to be who you know you are. But I'm going to encourage everyone to have the courage to be what you find, to find ways to express it, to find ways to communicate it to yourself and others, to find ways to love what you find within yourself. There's a richness that goes to soul purpose, to destiny, to the eternal destiny.
She also pointed out the fact that that pure energy state is always changing into more of who it is, the oneness. And it becomes the individualized life experience as we perceive it here on this planet or whatever world or dimension you want to go to, but that you learn as much as you can to get this experience so as you move on to the next life in whatever way, that you've already got thatness and you can keep connecting. Again, you wouldn't be able to do that unless it was already complete. It's that kind of a connection that everything is already happening. That is the also eternal soul and the eternal cosmic destiny. And when we can realize that, one, we are everything. Two, it is the free will of choice to do whatever you're wanting to do, to come back to, oh yeah, you never left. Oh, it just becomes that individualized awareness. And then the fact that scientifically, I'm not a doctor or a scientist, nothing. But I always share the fact that basically science is validating a lot of the ancient esoteric eternal beings in other universes and all that kind of stuff. And so they found that humans are basically energy, vibrational light beings. And with that definition of being energy in quantum physics, they found that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. But then I say, wait a minute. If that means in a very scientific, quantifiable way that we are eternal and we have always been, and yet this universe has only been here 13.8 billion years, we may not be from this universe. And it is the eternal soulprint of consciousness. No matter where you go, there you are. It's all one. One, you've already attained it. Two, how do you want to get there? What choices do you want to make and what feels good for you at this moment? Because that kind of ties into, if we're wanting to heal, do we want to take the road of communicating with other people, of self-realizing and writing our own? Why? Because the end result is already sitting there. It's how do we want to get to that end result?
This is one of the reasons I highly encourage you to follow your passion, because when you are following your passion and your creative energy and you're finding an expression for that, you're just tapped into the divine creative matrix. Anything that triggers your passion is divine energy.
I'm feeling triggered.
You always feel triggered. Anything that triggers your passion and your creative energy is divine energy, tapped into the divine creative matrix. When we think about the matrix, it is a state of creativity. It shifts, it morphs, it builds, it creates life. I mean, it's just amazing. So follow your passion. When we're thinking about, well, what is my eternal destiny then? Follow what gives you joy. Follow what stirs your passion and your creative energy. Follow what makes you happy, what makes you vibrate strongly, what makes you have a zest for life. And if you don't know what that is yet, dig in deep and pick one thing that you really enjoyed as a child or really enjoyed at any moment of your life and do that again and see if you can feel any sense of that passion, because it's all pointing to the same direction It's all pointing to that eternal destiny. It's all pointing to your soul print of consciousness, that oversoul. So follow that passion, follow that drive, and remember that every time you're expressing creative energy, you're expressing God or the divine within you. And some people are like, nope, I can't be God. God is much bigger than me, but we do think that we are all one. And if we are all one in this universe, we're all connected. That means we all have the divine flowing through us. We are all divine beings. Every single one of us are divine. So your passion, what gives you joy, what you really want to do, keep doing it. A lot of people have come to me and said, well, what gives me joy is to help people. I want to do this full time. I want to be a reader. I want to be a psychic reader. I want to be a psychic reader full time, but the universe isn't lining this up for me. Why not? How can I do what I really, really love, what I really want to do, and I really want to help people, and I really want to give them messages, and I really want to read cards for them, and I get these questions asked all the time, and I'm going to tell you right now, if the universe is not lining that up as a full-time job for you, maybe there's something else happening with your destiny. This could be what's in your soul purpose. What is being aligned for you on a soul vibration? Maybe you're supposed to be in a specific job, okay, where you meet a certain soul that helps you actually fulfill your destiny quicker or in a more amplified, energetic fashion. But you don't know that here and now because that's in the future, right? And sometimes we don't always see our future. Most of us don't. Some of us see parts of it, but most of us don't see all of it because we're growing into that on this human experience plane where we do have time in this linear field, right? On Earth. So how do we know that our choices and our free will isn't going to be supported 100% because it's not in complete alignment with some of these soul agreements, these soul contracts, or your soul purpose for what you chose to do? What if your soul can see this divine plan better than you can? because it can. It's outside of time and space. It sees everything that's happening all the time, right? So what if you let go of feeling bad that it's not happening right now and accept 100%, take the acceptance of who you are right here, right now. Who you are doesn't change. Your desire to help people, your desire to show up for people, your desire to offer messages doesn't change. You can still do that anywhere you are, in any job, even if you're in a corporate job. You showing up, being a bright light and a place of love and support and having a strong intuition in that field can help so many people. And what if that is what's best for you on a soul vibration? We don't always know the answers to these questions. We don't always know timing, why things work out for one and not the other. Why did this happen for this person, but I can't make it happen for me, but I feel like this is who I am? This is sometimes what we struggle with. And when we find ourselves struggling, I really want you to take a pause and take a breath and realize that there's a bigger picture we're not privy to all the time. And if we're not seeing it, we're not supposed to see it because it might change our free will choices. Okay? That could or could not misalign certain things that were meant to be brought together with soul alignments, soul agreements with other souls. Because remember, we are all one. We're playing this divine creative matrix all the time. So I want you to dig in deep to where you have faith that you are exactly where you need to be. This is not easy. Okay, I'm not asking you to do something easy right now. I'm asking you to do probably the most difficult thing on the planet, which is exercise some patience in soul growth. And what is patience? Faith applied. Okay. Do you have faith in this? So if you know that you're here for a reason and you're here for a purpose and you feel that in your heart and soul, then you're probably aware that you've made certain arrangements to fulfill that destiny, to fulfill the eternal destiny or the destiny of this specific lifetime. Can you trust that? Can you trust that everything is an energetic match and it's in alignment with you? So when things aren't working out the way you want them to or as quickly as you want them to, I want you to return to your own energy. I want you to keep doing things that give you joy, that give you passion, that allow you to feel the divine energy flowing through you in every moment. And if you can't find it in your everyday job where it is right now, I want you to look harder because you are wherever you are. And waiting for anything outside of you to fulfill you, whether it's a job or expressing yourself in a certain way or getting a certain level of clients or whatever, that's all you. That's what you want. That's your free will. But if it's not lining up right here, right now, I want you to take a breath, take a pause, and realize you are who you are in every situation. Wherever you are, there you are. And if you can accept that it's all in alignment and it's all a perfect vibrational match energetically right now and have faith in that, then you can breathe into this place because I want you to be able to breathe into this space and place of where you are right here, right now.
As Mag was saying, using your abilities in different ways. And for myself, it was training ground. I was working in hospitality for about 17 years. And I was working at a place called the Marriott Camelback Inn, and I was supervising events and banquets and stuff. And I just used my abilities to feel and see what they were looking for. Not only that, there were times when, in this particular case, there was about 20 tables and each one was 10 people around it, so 200 people. And as I was talking with this one table, I started walking away, and then it touched my mind to go back and give this gentleman, in this case, that's pretty specific, this gentleman sitting in this area, a pen and paper. I'm like, yeah, okay, here you go. And I gave it to this person, and he's looking at me like, how did you know? I'm like, yeah, I just feel potential needs, and that's what I'm here to do is fill it in. And not only that, using your abilities in a natural way gave me the ability to understand where people are at so that I could do the best I can to understand and communicate and talk with them, not just to them. And those kinds of benefits of just being me, because that's all I can be, but those who worked at Marriott know that they had what they call gold keys. And this gold key is given from these major corporations and big people that come into the resort. Well, if you were fortunate, because there was over 1,500 people in this particular resort, but if you were able to see and go above and beyond as they perceived it, they would award you the golden key. And I'm very honored and thankful. On average, a really good amount of gold keys was 3 to 5 gold keys, which was impressive. I'm very honored and thankful that by the time I left that place, I had already received 33 gold keys. And so, I'm like, well, here it's physically validated that the gentleman who was running the resort was just like, oh, you again, here you go.
Oh, what a great number, too, 33.
I know, I thought that's pretty, and my initials are JC. What a coincidence. So, it was that type of funny thing that I was just using my abilities, but I found a placement for that in whatever it is I was doing so that I could connect with people, so that it would not only mean me able to connect with people, I could understand their potential needs before they even realized it. And hey, here you go. And they're like, that's freaking magic. He's psychic or something. I'm like, yeah, I just anticipate needs.
And we don't realize how those actions and just being present and around people shift people's consciousness. If you are a light of expanded consciousness, your soul's going to put you in some crazy places to help expand that consciousness, whatever's around you. It's not always what you want on an ego level. Like, I want. And I see this as a vision and this is what I want. Sometimes we have to also say, I also want what's best for all concerned in love. I say that this is my caveat all the time. I want you just to see if this is something that you can embrace in your life. If you say, I want this in love for the best of all concerned. If it's not right for you, it's not going to happen. And I'm going to give you a personal example. After my mentor passed, I studied Jinshin Jitsu because I had some extra time to study, and I'm beautiful, opened up a healing practice, kept doing my readings, kept teaching, doing the things I love. But I never had a full-time practice living where I was. And I was getting really frustrated. I was like, why isn't this happening for me? I'm extremely talented. Everyone on my table feels amazing. Everyone who gets a reading says, oh, you're really good at reading. I get these validations all the time. So I know I'm on the right track. I trust in myself. I've been studying this for, 20 years at that time, maybe 25. And I'm good at this. So why do I not have a full practice? And I would just talk to my guys, be like, what's going on? They said, just wait. We have something big planned for you. So they were asking me to be patient. They were asking me to trust in something I couldn't see, I couldn't feel into, I had no vision of, and blind faith in my team. And I said, okay, I will trust. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I had a full-time practice living where I was living, I would not have come down to Phoenix to live with my now husband, Jamie. Okay? And this podcast might never happen with me in it. It could happen with just him, but not with me. I waited 5 years saying, why isn't my vision, why isn't this manifesting? I know I'm really good at this. And I'll tell you right now, I never gave up doing what I wanted to do. I followed my desire. I followed my passion. I also took on other jobs when I needed to, and sometimes many other jobs when I needed to fill the gaps, pay the bills, do the things that you have to do, while I trusted in this vague message of just wait, we have something big coming. And so I'm not asking you to do something that's easy right now. I'm asking you to do something that's very difficult, and that's to trust. Trust in the universe, trust in your destiny, trust in the divine plan, and trust in who you are, and have faith in that. That is so beautifully important. So if you find yourself frustrated because things aren't lining up the way you want them to in a spiritual business or in any business or in any endeavor that you're dedicating your future memories and your state of manifestation and the energy of who you are, just check in, exercise some patience, realize that all time is happening now in that eternal destiny. So what you want is probably already a reality. We're just lining things up. The universe is creating an alignment, and just vibrate with who you are. Always just tune into your pure energy state, to your pure heart, to your pure soul of consciousness.
And take that eternal breath as one, for we will live eternally and beyond.
Are you looking to form a deeper and richer connection to your higher self? Make that dimensional bridge of consciousness a reality in your life. Join us with Infinite Healing from the Stars, that's Vivian Chavette and Peter Benson, and the Psychic Evolution team, gathering together in a beautiful spiritual center in Sedona, Arizona, with these beautiful vortex energies and red rocks. And here we're going to learn quantum ways to communicate to your higher self. Discover your soul's purpose, activate your third eye, clear your channels, and enjoy messages from Jamie Clark and astrology to help activate your higher self in psychic connections. It is going to be out of this world when you're experiencing Beyond Quantum Healing with Vivian Chavette. We look forward to seeing you in Sedona on January 20th through 23rd of 2023. Visit psychicevolution.net to get your tickets. We look forward to seeing you there and having fun with our psychic evolution.